You have no idea. Because I love Twitter the most. And if you know me for 5 minutes, you'll probably hear that because I'm very evangelical about it. And I've been using Twitter since 2007 as a human. And I've been doing it for relationship marketing since 2009, which is almost 10 years. So relationship marketing, what's marketing? So there's a lot of people that talk about all kinds of different types of marketing. There's inbound marketing, which Amy Hall is very good at, and I am not. There is like data analysis marketing and like having, test groups and trying out different cornflakes and asking. I don't do any of that stuff. Basically what I do is I make friends. And then I broker those friendships, and I call myself a people broker, and then I make money doing that. So it's pretty awesome. So building relationships with people on behalf of your brand. So a logo without a relationship has zero meaning. It's just a symbol on a screen. It's just pixels on, if you know somebody who works for a company, then that logo has a bigger or more meaningful impact when you see it. I started in construction, and my whole aim was to get people to realize that we were a much bigger company, that as 5 employees we could do $5 million worth of work. And we did, because we outsourced and we expanded and contracted dependent upon the work, much of the way we do here in the WordPress industry when we partner with our vendors. And when you can expand and contract your workforce that way and kind of control your basic overhead costs. It's a very efficient way of running a business. And so what I've done this year is I've built my business. So I started October 17th of last year, and I'm now 97% of my goal as of last week. And I got this tattoo to commemorate it, actually. It means abundance in Mandarin. And I verified it with somebody who actually speaks Mandarin, so it's not like it's going to end up on one of those Tumblr tattoo mistake sites. So relationship marketing is a different way because the results aren't as tangible. Okay, it's harder to touch. It's harder to get the ROI. What's the ROI of a WordCamp? Well, I started going in 2013 as somebody who just writes. And, now it's 2018. I don't even know how many WordCamps I've been to, or now I volunteer on the WordPress project as a marketing team rep. So, yeah, what's the ROI? I don't know. Friends? When you meet friends, you have this whole network of people, and they're there for you when you need it, physically, financially, spiritually, emotionally. Relationship marketing is building friendships, actual friendships with people, and then joining forces with each other. So a lot of times when I talk about Twitter, I hear people saying, they had to follow everybody. I mean, are those people really relevant to me? And I love Gary Vee because he has a way of saying it that is not okay by FCC rules. But everybody is relevant. Okay? And I used to say I follow everybody but porn stars and spammers who are selling followers. But if you build websites for that industry, then guess what? They're relevant. And I have a friend who does that. So they're relevant. So everybody's relevant. And in this day and age, we have people who transition jobs. Who in this room was in the same job they were in 5 years ago? Wow, that's only 6 people, maybe 25% of the room. So I know I wasn't, and that's twice over. So in 2015, I left, I had a different job, and then in 2017, I left and had a different job. So the average job lifespan is about 2 years now. Pretty much nobody gets the gold watch for staying for 20 years. That just doesn't happen. We don't do that. And so the people and the relationships that you make, they go with you to the next job, right? So say my friend Nate over there is with Pixel Jar. Well, say he decides he doesn't want to work there anymore, and he's just so awesome, he has to go work for Google or something, right? Well, I knew him when he worked at Pixel Jar, but I knew him before he worked at Pixel Jar, right? So like those relationships still, and I could say, oh, I have a friend that works at Google, right? So you have connections and they matter. And he wouldn't do that because Pixel Jar is awesome, but I knew I could pick on them because everybody knows they're awesome. Nobody's going to go, what did she really mean by saying that? I just saw Nate and he was kind of checking out on me, so I used his name. That's what I do. I went to school to be a teacher, so that's going to happen. So why does it matter? It matters because you don't know when you're going to need somebody. You don't know when you're going to need somebody. And if you already decide in 30 seconds of being on Twitter that that person doesn't matter, first of all, as a human, come on. You're really going to decide that person isn't worth your space in your brain in 5 seconds? And this is why we have a problem with relationships in our society right now, because we are making decisions. I'm dating. I'm making decisions with my finger. We're all doing it all the time. But like, you have to spend a little bit more time. If you want something valuable, you have to give value. If you want valuable results, you have to put value on it. So pretty much everybody matters for a reason. And if you just will have that in your mindset, like, what, this person just followed me from Timbuktu. Do they matter? Yeah, they matter. You might not see that value to you personally today, but what if they start working for Google? What if you need a job? What if they have a client and they want to refer you? So when do you need a customer? Does anybody in this room need a customer? That's it? Well, the rest of you guys are totally fine. Are you employees? How many people are employees? How many people have their own business? How come all those people's hands weren't raised when I asked you if you need a customer? Come on. Like, I'm at 97%, I'm not at 100%, and I don't want 97%, I want like 125% because you know people are going to come and they're going to go. Maybe I should be at 150%. I'll do the math later. But that's the thing. You always need a customer because you are always going to want those seeds to be planted. You know, oh, I need a journalist. Oh, I met this girl at WordCamp. Her name's Elizabeth Ortiz, E-Ortiz News on Twitter. Oh, she's a journalist. Maybe she could go do interviews with people around my town, why they need a website. Maybe I can use that on my email marketing for my website hosting company. Like, that's just me spitballing off of the people in this room. This is my favorite proverb. The best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time is today. And it totally goes in with Alicia's talk from this morning. Yeah, okay, maybe you should have started a week ago, or I should have started losing weight 20 years ago. Well, whatever, okay? Just start today, right? Start today. There's a fly. This is like some kind of conspiracy. It's a drone. So the thing is, it's a drone. The Drupal people are trying to see what I'm saying. So the thing is that what we really want to do is we want to value those relationships, right? And then you want to realize that whatever you think you should have done is not a productive way of thinking. What you should do, if you have that vision, if you have that energy to do that, just start now. Just start today. So when's the best time to get customers? Well, yeah, it would have been awesome if I started my business last year with a bunch of customers, but it didn't happen that way. I started my business, and then I went and got some customers. Right? Like, well, actually, here's my shingle, bridgetwiller.com, which was already existing, but then I realized I had to go and Beaver Builder, build some prices and, you know, do some things so that people knew I was accepting clients, et cetera, whatever. So start doing it now. So if you have a relationship with your mom, or your sister or your uncle or your grandpa or your partner. It takes time. Relationships mean time. And in this kind of hookup, instant, culture where everything's a drive-through, we forget that. We forget, okay, well, if I want to do X, Y, and Z, I just go to those things. There's an app for this, and I don't even have to wait for anything anymore. If I wanted to, my friend and I were just talking about this, we could literally never leave the house. We could get everything delivered. We don't need other humans. Or do we? Right? So if you want something of value that would produce, you're going to have to put time into it, right? You wouldn't plant a tree and then be like, well, good luck. No, get your own water, be sustainable. I put you in the ground. No, you're going to water it. You're going to make sure that it has all the nutrients in there, and you're going to want to prune it and stuff so that it bears fruit. You know that it might take 3 years or 8 years for an almond, but you still have to put effort into it. So if you want to build relationships online, then you have to spend time online. You cannot have anything valuable without using your time. There are ways to automate certain things, but I will just, as a disclaimer, tell you right now, I believe in as little automation as possible when it comes to making relationships. There's a lot of things that can go wrong, super wrong, really wrong. One of my favorites, actually, is when a political candidate just a while ago, like almost 10 years ago, had this was a local person, nobody you know, it's not partisan. But what she did was she had like I think it was an if this then that search, and at any time her name appeared in the news, it posted to her Facebook page. Good idea, right? Until they're writing about you in a not so favorable way. And then I'm screenshotting this going, I don't know who manages your page, but you need to get this down now, like yesterday. This needs to be up. This is why you don't automate. You hire somebody to do this for you, You can't just automate. Like, that's my best example, but there's also one where a pastor was interviewing a lady, and she said something like, something I can't say. The way that Instagram cut off the text was terrible, and I direct messaged him and he took that down. So let's talk about Twitter lists. I mean, this stuff happens. There's character limits. There's things that could go wrong. Unless you foresee what could happen when you overly automate, you have to monitor everything that you're doing online because your face is next to it. Your reputation is next to it. Remember what I said about having a logo? A logo is a representation of who you are and everything that you are, your persona, your being, your interactions. You can't separate it. I can't be super nice and completely abide by the code of conduct here and then go home and be an asshole. It just doesn't work like that. I can. I physically can go be a jerk to people, right? And I can go make fun of them. I could be a jerk. But guess what's going to happen? People will see that because there's an inauthenticity. And when you're in business for yourself, you are your brand. Your behavior is your brand. Everything that you do is your brand. If you're snarky online, people are going to not want to approach you. If you make fun of people who have to Google things, are you Snapchatting me? I'm so proud of you.
So sorry.
No, that's awesome. It's fine. Nobody cares. There's 4 people here. So here's the thing. What really matters is that we spend the time appropriately, because it's true. It does take time, but also we're not made of time, and time is the one unsustainable resource. I don't have time. I don't have any more time than you do. We all have 24 hours, okay? So, Twitter lists is the #1 way to maximize the time that you spend online. The #1 way. So, who wants a demo? I'm sure somebody does. But first, I need people. I need a person that will volunteer to come up here that I don't know. It's not going to work if I know you. It won't work if I know you. Yes, ma'am. I know. So much stress. This is just me and 4 other friends. Yeah. What's your name?
Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
What do you do?
I'm a dietitian.
Ooh, dietitian. Do you write about nutrition, or do you work with primarily?
Everything from seeds to compost and everything in between.
But do you work with a specific group of people, like diabetics?
Yes.
So, like, what is the best way to avoid a high sugar level in your bloodstream?
Eating every 4 to 6 hours and having protein with each meal.
Okay, so are you here because you blog also about nutrition and making your diet custom, or?
I'm actually here to help promote our pasture-raised and finished beef and poultry.
Oh, so you have a product.
Yes.
And do you have a website developer already?
I believe so.
Okay. And do you have people that write content for you?
Not yet. I don't know if I'm supposed to be doing that or not.
Oh, okay. Well, so here's the thing. So this is my friend Lisa, and she's a dietitian, and they have a new product that is really kick-ass. How many people in here write for a living? Elizabeth, raise your hand. Raise them up high. Who is accepting work? There you go. Meet those people afterwards. Thanks, Lisa.
Okay.
Boom. That's how we do it. Okay, so that's how you do it for real life. Now we're going to do it online life. So, when you follow somebody new, who wants to tell me their Twitter handle?
Will you use me now?
Yeah, now I can use you. Can people see stuff? Is it big enough? Wait, it's not really that big.
What is it?
So, I know, but like my prescription literally just changed. My eyes are like a total shit show. I build WordPress websites, MailChimp expert, and content management. So right here in her Twitter bio, she's telling you a lot about herself. Her birthday is March 18th. She's been using Twitter for 10 years. This is her website. She's from Oceanside, and so if I need somebody who can build WordPress websites and help me with my inbound marketing, that's going to be her, right? So I probably already have her on the list because she's my friend or whatever. She's my friend. So these 3 dots on the side, it used to be a gear, now it's dots. I love so much when they change their UI. I love it so much. Nobody remembers muscle memory. Okay, so you click on that, you have some choices. And I want to highlight something really quick. I want to make sure you guys can hear this. See this turn off retweets? Yeah. This is why I don't use the retweet button. Because people can turn you off. Okay. So add and remove to lists. So I can add her to a list. And I've made lists. I have an email marketing list. Because I'm smart like that. Email marketing. I have her in Oceanside because she was one of my friends in Oceanside, but I need to put her in San Diego too, because she's in San Diego. So then she's one of my friends. Oh, there she is in San Diego County. Okay, and she's a WordPress professional, right? So you can have more than one list. So in WordPress, do I have any WordPress developers here? Okay, there's this really cool thing in WordPress called a
Category?
Taxonomy?
Okay, it starts with an H.
Hierarchy?
A hook.
Oh, hook.
I heard somebody say it. I know, it's too elementary, right? So hooks, there's actions and filters, right? And actions do stuff and filters change things. I have developers in here, right? Okay. Filters change things, actions do stuff. Let's be awake here. This is interactive. So a filter changes things, but on Twitter, adding things to lists makes you a filter, okay? So that you're only looking at those tweets from those people. Remember when we talked about who's relevant? So this way you can follow everybody back, be super nice, but only spend time on the list that you have time for at that moment. Today, this weekend, I am using a a hashtag filter for WordCamp Riverside, WCRS, or whatever it is. There's like 5 variations. And so, but also WordCamp professionals. I use, like, those are the people, for me, I market WordPress products. So WordPress companies are important for me to spend time looking at, but also my developer friends, because I refer work, because guess who doesn't build websites? And never will. Okay, so, right? So now you see I can put her on a list. Now I know what to talk to her about. So there's 2 things. So now I've looked at her bio, she followed me, I put her on a list. So now I go back to my home and I'm like, okay, so I have 13,000 followers, right? That's a lot. And I don't want to be in here, and I don't care that Kyle 2U retweeted somebody. When there's people that keep retweeting stuff like this, you know what happens? Turn off retweets. I don't want to see their stuff. I'm following them. I'm not interested. Whatever, okay? So you go to your profile. So in order to see your list on Twitter, you can do this. I like Hootsuite the best because the UI is the same on mobile and desktop, and I'll show you that in a minute. But go to your profile where you see your own profile like this, okay? I have 97 lists. That's a lot of lists. You used to only be able to have 20. But so, like, say I want to just see my WordPress people. It's not alphabetical. It's super annoying. So I have 2 choices. I can either just see the tweets as they are, or I can click this and see the members. So I have almost 1,400 people on this list. So one of the other cool things is, if I were you, and this is what I tell people, if you want to also follow WordPress professionals, just go to my profile like I just did, and then go to my list. When I start over with my clients, I just got 2 new clients. One of them's a WordPress company. I went to my own list I already created. I'm not doing the work all over again. You can follow people from the list you already have. See how we're saving time? Where's my head's going, oh my God, this is revolutionary. How have I not been doing this forever? Okay, so what I can do is I can either click that and see those people, like, who are they? Oh, look, Joshua Knapp, Antonio Garza, Sapphire Designer, WC Sketch, blah, blah, blah. Or I can just go back to my live feed. So this way I can scroll through and, what? I don't know what that means. Something, morning after daylight saving times, and this is awesome. I got another hour of sleep. Dark at 5:30. By Gravasar's hammer, what a crock. Okay. So my thing is, I really believe in the reply button. I think the retweets are a very lazy way of timing activity. And I don't mind saying that, and if you're offended, I'm sorry you're offended by the truth. So it's not in the code of conduct for me to say that you're using something wrong. A retweet is like parroting something back. So if Jules came up here and said, hey Bridget, I like your outfit. And I just say, hey Bridget, I like your outfit. And she says, your hair looks really nice. Your hair looks really nice. Like, what is that? Weirdo, right? But we do that on Twitter all day long. You just press retweet. What would you say if somebody said, hey Bridget, your hair looks really nice today? What would you say?
Thank you.
So on Twitter, if somebody says, you look really nice today, what do you say?
Thank you.
Hey, I love your product.
Thank you.
Your support was awesome today.
Thank you.
It's really the 2 most powerful words besides no.
We just made it automate. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's good.
Right? So, like, but here I could go, but with relationship building, you have to be the one that's more proactive, right? So David is a WordCamp organizer in Miami, and I could say, that is so funny. I hate it when it's dark. Early, it doesn't feel safe. I'm a girl. I am a girl. Okay. So we'll see if he writes me back. So the next best thing about Twitter And I will get to the list another way, but like the next best thing is this bell, notifications, okay? So all these poor souls that just got embarrassed by me. So I'm glad that WordCamp Riverside retweeted tweets, but like guys, that's nothing for me, right? Like all you are is somebody else's analytic. Right? So, but here's Elizabeth saying, spend time making friends to create value and watch your business grow. So I'm going to press reply, and what do you think I'm going to say? What? It's so easy. Like that was 20 seconds, not even. How much time did I spend doing that? You know, we could time it and have a competition. Everyone matters. One always needs a client. The best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. Here, I'm going to level it up. Thanks, Karen. I love you. I'm so glad you're in my talk. Heart. How many seconds was that? This does not take a lot of time, right? And then I'm caught up with my notifications, so I could literally just shut my computer, but I'm afraid that if I did that, Chromecast won't like me anymore. So the thing is, you want to be able to do that. So when you level it up with Hootsuite, which is free for 3 accounts, so it shouldn't be a problem, I'm not pitching anything. I have all my clients up here. And this is a list, right? So here's my, you too can be a guru. And remember I said I had these friends? Like these are my friends I know in real life. So of course Amy's right here, right? And then I scroll over. Here's my WordPress professionals. Here's Rudy. So like then I can just spend time just in this column. I don't have to talk to Vala Afar. I don't have to talk to Elizabeth Ortiz. I can just be in this list. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have 97 of them?
I have 97 lists on Twitter, but I do not use them all on Hootsuite. But see, the thing is, Arizona is one of my backup states if I have to leave. So for example, I have Arizona and Oregon. So I started, no, this is for real. I wish it was a joke. So I have lists for Oregon peeps and AZ peeps, OR peeps and AZ peeps. Because if I'm going to move, I want to move to where I have friends. So I'm building those friendships now. So how did I go from zero business in October 17th of 2017 to 97% of my revenue goal last week? People ask me, how do you get leads? This is exactly how I get leads. I get leads no other way. Everybody that I've met has been through Twitter and or WordCamp. Of course, I specialize with WordPress people, but I still have nerds. There's one client I have from Instagram, one that came from Instagram. But still, being online and building these relationships, right? So it's the immediacy. I didn't need those clients in 2009 when I was working for Riggins Construction, and I didn't need it when I was looking for Thought House in 2018. I mean, whatever year that was. I needed them now. But I did the work back then, right? So you might say to yourself, well, I already have 3 websites I'm trying to build right now. I don't need any clients. You don't need a client now. What's going to happen in March? Do you have a client for a website build in March? Who has a client? Who has a project? Who has projects farther than March in this room? Oh, damn, that's awesome. I want to be like you. How about June of 2019? Oh, that's good. How many people in that who raised your hand are employees, or how many, who owns their own business and has work past Q2 of 2019? That's really good. But that's 4 people. That's 5 people though, okay? So, and one's a product and one's a service that has continual revenue, okay? So that's good. But that's the thing, it's like you gotta realize if you wanna scale, you have to start thinking about this. Like, do you want to hire employees? Do you wanna hire another support person? Do you wanna hire a content writer? You have to decide like what kind of thing you want, or do you want that referrals to come back to you? So that's kind of like the way I think. And I think that if everybody matters, then you treat everybody that matters. And then when you need help, they're there too. All of my referrals come through DMs. And so this talk is about treating your client base like a community. So what I do is with my clients, I say, okay, what can we do to help each other? Right? So I retweet them. I do a lot of outreach on direct messages and things like that. I just had somebody DM me this week and said, Bridget, what can I do for your clients that could also help for me, right? So because I have this activity publicly, people feel that I'm approachable privately, and that's when you see your ROI. Oh yeah, this client could use your service here, and maybe you guys could help each other out, right? So you're being a people broker even within your own community of clients. Because in WordPress, we understand community. We come to WordCamps. We do a lot of volunteer work here and everything like that. We invest time with each other. We make friends. Most of the people here are friends with each other, or will be by the time this weekend's over. And so, but with our clients, we're like, oh yeah, that one's a pain in the ass. This one's driving me crazy because she's texting me at 1 o'clock in the morning. But the real thing is, like, in my same time zone, so how can you alleviate that? How can you reframe it in your own mind so that it's an advantageous situation? And even if you want to get rid of that client, maybe you want to get rid of it to somebody who is in Europe and is totally fine with talking to somebody at 1 a.m. Pacific time, right? Then you're the hero. This is my plan. If you know anybody does Instagram in Europe, let me know. Okay, so before I leave my live environment of Twitter, do I have any Twitter-related questions? Leo?
What if I don't know what to tweet about?
That is a great question. What if I don't know what to tweet about? You do, you just don't realize it. So what I advise people is, what are the things that you find yourself repeating over and over again? For example, pain points, okay? So if a client doesn't understand that they need to give you access to their domain provider, the password, DNS settings, and all this other stuff, you can write a little tiny blog like what I need from you before we build your website, right? And then you can tweet about that. Or you could say, and I did this a lot in construction, I would actually do vocabulary related tweets. Like a glulam beam is a beam that's created for structural reinforcement made out of plywood that's glued together and laminated. That's why it's called a glulam beam, right? And so you can tweet about some of those things. When you're in an office and you hear the people calling and asking the same questions over and over again, it's way easier. Does anybody in here use Help Desk, Zendesk, or Help Scout, or anything like that? That is where I would be doing it. Not in a shaming way. Not in a shaming way, but...
Why are you pointing at me?
I'm not pointing at anybody. Fingers are just, I'm just saying, client shaming is a bad thing. You should never do that in public. That's what your girlfriends and tequila are for. So, and I'm so serious about that. There are way too many of my friends that are putting down clients on the internet, this is your billboard with your face. Don't do it, please. I love you so much. Please stop. It's an intervention. When you tweet out about your clients that way, it makes me feel sad. So the thing is that when you have those pain points, you can use Twitter as a way to educate your client base. Try to be as friendly as possible, because the point of being on Twitter is being accessible. And it's amazing, actually, to think about the accessibility that Twitter gives you. I would not be here, I would not have access to the people I do if it wasn't for Twitter. And think about, since 2008, our president, whichever one and whichever way you think, The President of the United States has been tweeting since 2008. That's amazing. The people in even the 1960s did not have access that way. We did not have the ability to talk to Ted Rubin or Simon Sinek or anybody, or even like Shaquille O'Neal on Twitter. You know, my friend Rachel Cherry tweeted out about how much she loves Slack, and they made it an ad in the New York Times. She said she loves Slack so well, she would get it as a tattoo on her body, and they made a whole thing, and they sent her a print. Like, you forget, like, our words have power, and the power of our words is connection. I have only 10 minutes left, so just let me go back and then I'll come back if I need to. That's what I love about the internet. So, oh yeah, well, I'm on questions anyway, so that's fine. Do I have any more Twitter-related questions, Liz?
Can you specifically tweet to each list without tweeting everyone?
You cannot tweet to a list. That would be email marketing, and unfortunately, Twitter does not allow you to do that. And I'm sure that if Jason Tucker were here, he would say, oh yeah, Bridget, just go into the API, make a script, and then something. In fact, I feel like he would say that. I feel like Jason's hologram is right here saying, of course, Bridget, that's what you would do. Because there are APIs for Twitter, and people who know how to code that deeply can do that, but you can't. No. The list is for you so that you can focus your time in a more efficient way, but one caveat: everybody is notified when you put them on a list. There are two kinds of lists. There are public lists and private lists. So you can make a private list that says, I hate these people with all my heart, and they will not get a notification that you put them on the list. But if you ever make that list public, they will be notified that Bridget Willard just put you on the list called, I hate these people with all my heart. Right? So what I do, and this is my experience, not my opinion, but my experience tells me that when I make my Twitter list as SEO-ish as possible, like think Yellow Pages. If your toilet is broken, who are you going to call? What?
Stefano.
Not specifically. What? If you're gonna look in a phone book, who remembers the Yellow Pages? Please, there has to be 5 people at least. Okay. You're gonna Google. You're gonna look for. It starts with a P. Plumber. Thank you. And if there's something wrong with your car, you're gonna call a mechanic. Auto mechanic would be a long tail keyword. Come on. Give me some grace here, Amy. So the thing is, hear me out. I don't want to lose you. I still have 7 minutes. Focus your minds, people. This is important. When you start using lists, Twitter suggests you to those people based upon your lists. And you can try an experiment if you want with Justin Bieber fans and see how many people you get that love Justin Bieber. But I know that when I do this for myself and for all the clients I've had, both as an employee and my own business, in all kinds of industries, construction, florists, you name it, whatever it is, politicians, this works. So when you're creating your lists, create a list. These are the most important ways to do it, okay? Number 1, your clients. Number 2, the people that you want to be your clients. And number 3, like if you are geographically based, I would definitely do a geography. So for me, it would be clients, then it would be WordPress companies, and it would be Orange County. And then spend your time in there. You can make as many lists as you want, and that's fine. When I follow people, I put them on a list 90% of the time because they belong somewhere. And I might need that later. Maybe I don't care about construction people now because I'm not in it. What if I get a client that does renovations? Then I'm going to want that list, right? Build the things that you need so that your workflow is easier later. Don't, that the best time to plant a tree is now, okay? So do the work while you're already in there, following that person back. Then you're going to want to put them on a list. Here's another thing. Twitter Twitter has following to follower ratios that are completely annoying. They are the only social network that does this and needs to die a long, horrible, dragged out death through the streets of town.
Tell us how you really
But other than that,
Okay? It's terrible. However, if you are following people and you don't follow them back, you will not be able to follow anybody else at 2,000, 5,000, 9,000, 14,000, and 19,000. Those are only as far as I've gone, okay? Because I've only gone to 20,000 on one client. You will have trouble following people back. So you can follow them and list them. You don't necessarily have to pay attention to those lists, okay? You can still be super social, but this way you're using your time well and you're building a network and people remember who you are. Because of this, I use who.unfollowed.me. Every week, I do maintenance Mondays because I have to have a kitschy thing. I have to have a scheme where that's how I do my work. So maintenance Mondays, I sign in and I unfollow everybody who unfollowed me because I can't have those people making my growth inhibited. So you can still have them on your list. You don't have to follow people that are on your list. So if you want a news list, which I also recommend because people go to the Twitter like that when something happens bad, or even good, but like a panda being born at the San Diego Zoo. So you can have all those people on a news list and you don't have to follow them. You don't have to follow people that are on a list. Yes, so I have only 5 minutes left, and I had another question in the back. Yes, sir?
Can you share this?
Can you share lists? So you can subscribe to lists. So share, like people can have the link. The link is public. As long as your list is public, the link is public. So this list, anybody, if I wanted to tweet this out, I could say, follow my list. I don't tweet ugly links, but yeah, I could do that. And then you could go on it, subscribe to it.
And you have to hashtag.
No, I just did that so you could find it if you were really serious. I use the hashtags are also the same. Hashtags are keywords. You can make something funny and stupid like on Instagram if you want to, but nobody's going to do that. I have distinct controversial opinions about hashtag use. You can talk to me after about that. Because we only have 3 minutes and I want to answer as many questions as I can. This side of the room, nobody on this side of the room has a question for me? Yes, sir. How do I use likes? I use likes as a bookmark or a conversation ender. So, because I do reply. So I'll go, oh yeah, that was great. Oh, that was a funny time. Oh yeah, I remember that. Da, da, da. And then the conversation's over. Like you would just wave and go by. So I will just like it. But for me, before it was a like, it was a star, and I use it as a bookmarking tool. Like so say like 100 people were tweeting right now, and I have all those notifications. I would go to the one that I scroll down, I go backwards to forwards, and I put that there so I remember. Or if I want to embed tweets into my blog post, like say I did a recap or a Twitter chat, I would use the link to embed in my WordPress site. The thing that's really great about WordPress is that it supports OEmbed, which means basically if you have the link to Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, whatever, you can just put that ugly link in there and it will show a really great picture that's interactive. You can follow people and that extends the life of a tweet. That's another really good Twitter thing. I have 2 minutes. Yes, sir.
Who do you build when you are doing all this referraling?
Who do I bill?
Yeah, who are you building? How do you monetize that?
How do I monetize the actual referral?
I'm referring.
Do I monetize the actual referral?
Yeah.
No, I don't. Some people, I have an affiliate link for like Beaver Builder, but that's like, I don't, if somebody wants to give me $50 because I referred them, that's up to them, but that's not why I do it. I do it because the main reason why I do referral is because I can say no and still be valuable. if you come to me and say, Jessica says, oh, Bridget, will you build me this website? I go, I don't do that, Jessica, but Roy Savan does, and we have a deal, and you can go look at his website, or Various does, and you can, like that. So I don't want a referral fee. That's not, I'm not trying to monetize everything, but I think that's why people trust me. The thing is, when you start monetizing a lot of stuff, like becoming an affiliate blogger or writing for hire, it can get a little tricky, and once the curtain is pulled back, you lose trust, and you're never going to get that back. So that's my personal opinion about that. One more question, and then I have no more time. Amber.
I heard a rumor, I don't know if it's going to be fact, that they're thinking of getting rid of the like button. Have you heard this, and how do you think it'll affect engagement?
So the thing is that the like button is a useful tool. And if you accept that as a metric of engagement, then you're going to see those metrics go down. For me, I don't accept that as a metric, because the only thing that matters to me when I'm doing client work is the tweets to profile visit ratio. I want it above 0.2, which is math you have to do outside of Twitter analytics. So I think that the like button is lazy, and I think that it's not. I think it's the illusion of engagement. So like you're 100 feet away from me, it's like going like this. It's nothing. And then I'm walking away. Instead, what should I do when I see my friend Amber? Oh my God, Amber, it's so good to see you. How's Coronado? How's your dogs? I miss you. Like, you look great today. I love that color on you. And she says, thank you very much.